Hello and welcome to today's Wild Hearthstone deck tech and gameplay video on Mill Druid. Now, this is my own little version of Mill Druid. I know other versions exist, but this is just my own little take since I saw due process in the reveals of the mini set, so I figure this is the first deck that I really wanted to make and had the cards to kind of make. Mill Druid basically wants to fill your opponent's hand up with cards like Selfish Shellfish, and Grove Tender, Dancing Sword, Cold Light Oracle, and all cards like that, along with due process. We want to fill our opponent's hand up with cards and then eventually make them draw past their limit of 10 cards in hand, basically making them burn up the card and lose it forever. Now, but in order to do that, we do need some support besides just the cards themselves. Since the deck can just get kind of ran over, we run interaction in the form of like Wraths and Naturalizes, which also not only allow us to deal with aggressive boards or big scary creatures or what have you, also helps to advance our game plan of milling our opponent down. Also have some hedge mages for a couple of the death rattle cards, much like again the Dancing Swords or the Selfish Shellfish, or even the Death Blossom Womper, which will assuming will actually take one of the aforementioned little death rattles and get another copy of it. Where was it? There. We also have cards like Boomkin and Flipper Friends, Starfall, and where's the card? Poison Seeds, again ways to just fight a board and clear it and try not to get run down in the process of doing our sort of goofy little game plan. And that's the basics of the list. We'll go on now to game number 1, but before we go, if you're just here for the deck tech, remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you would like some more, and if you have some questions or comments down below, as long as they're nice and somewhat constructive, go ahead and leave them there. Make no mistake, this is basically what some would consider a budget list, but even then, if you have less of a budget than I do, I don't mind, say for example, giving ideas for replacement cards. Anywho, on to proper game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Mill Druid. Mage at this level, admittedly the season has just reset if you couldn't tell, is usually either some secret-y mage or some mech mage, so we'll go ahead and keep it all. Well, we'll get rid of the Boomkin, but other than that, we just want to get some things on the board and start progressing our little game plan. Sadly, nothing to play. Go ahead and pass. Sorry, put out a quest, like a quest mage list, because if it is, then we probably die for certain. It's secret. Fair enough. We'll go ahead and try and wrath the little Cabal boy here. Since it's a pretty low impact spell, we don't mind if it gets countered. Let's see, is it the creature counter spell thing? Objection, I think it's called. To be fair, Secret Mage is one of those lists where it got a new secret, so it's probably going to be, you know, floating around here somewhere. We'll go ahead and play the Grove Tender. Again, drawing cards. If it gets countered or explosive runes, we're fine with that. Hey, due process. Nice. Is it... Okay, so it's not a counter spell, it's not a minion summon one, and it's not rigged fair games. So is it like, it could be like an ice block, ice barrier, or like ice block, ice barrier, flame ward, I think are the only other ones left. So in that case, I think we'll just do due process.
This will be good.
Oh, that's not great, is it? Might as well see. I think that makes it almost certainly ice block. In that case, we'll just try and start chipping away into their board. It's really all we can do. Next turn, we might just Boomkin and remove the bigger of the occult conjurers. Wow, just directly to my... Alright, cool. That's admittedly pretty aggressive. But what are you gonna do? Kind of need to do this. Okay, that gives me something to do. Yeah, we'll go with the original plan. We are going to eat another 4, which isn't great. Kind of has to be said. Next turn, if nothing else, we can just Keeper of the Grove to shock down.
Scorched in fiery waves.
Okay, is this some like Reno version of the list? 'Cause it's the only thing that I can think of that would run that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I think I needed just Poison Siege to not die. And then we'll just Big Boy Wrath. Any one of them, doesn't really matter. Now, we don't really get to, like, properly start milling them, because we're just trying not to die here. Which is an unfortunate reality we find ourselves in. And there's another one. It's not a good look.
An incredible discovery.
Damn. Yeah, this is in the little bit of time that I've had to test this. This deck can really just get run over by almost anything. Okay, so the second one is a counter spell. I think the original plan of just pinging down the Treant and explosive runes almost certainly means I'm dead. It's kind of the problem with doing like a cute deck like this is that, I mean, if the meta at your rank or in your own experience is like really slow, then like you can do pretty well, but
too full.
if it has any pressure to it at all, then you basically immediately die. You don't immediately die, but you do just get ran over.
I'm late. I'm late.
Yep. I guess this is one of those why you can't really go too all... We'll use this game as an example to show why, like, Mill is fun and can be fun, but Mill as a deck archetype doesn't really work at the same level as it does in something like Magic, where if you know... If Mill and Magic is more of a hard win con, Mill just, like, accelerates fatigue, and even then fatigue might not necessarily even be a concern for most decks. We'll go ahead and just play Jade Idol, see what counters. Oh, it's not Poison Seeds. And we still just die, so.
I can't win them all.
Yeah, hopefully that shows a good example of why if you don't have this deck at home, you honestly shouldn't run it. Like, I sacrificed some time with this deck, so you don't have to. But anyway, we'll go to game number 2 now.
The forest fights back.
And game number 2 with our little Mill Druid list. That's not too bad. We'll go ahead and keep this. If it's some sort of, like that Archbishop Shadow Only kind of aggressive priest, we're okay. We might be okay, but we can't just get ran down.
I see you.
Usually it's some sort of questy, reanimatory thing. And against slower decks like that, kind of like this, we can actually do okay as the game... I don't have to really face pressure on my end of the board. I can just kind of do my own thing. So yeah, I think we'll... I mean, provided, you know, we ourselves don't mill anything over. We can also, in theory, actually mess up their quest by removing some of the,
We come from far.
well, burning, hopefully, some of the mill options that exist. Or, sorry, mill some of the quest options that exist for certain cost cards. There we go. My brain was messing up. We'll go ahead and coin the Hedge Mage. I think we're going to keep the Hedge Mage for the Selfish. Shellfish. Bleh. Next turn, we'll just Dancing Sword and try and start contesting the board.
The time has come to dethrone our former master.
They have that in their opening hand, which is fine. More proof that, yeah, we're just Dancing Swords on the board here.
Another take.
That's it. Fill your hand up. That's kind of what I want you to do. You want extra cards in your hand, and I want you to have extra cards in your hand. We're all in this together. Yeah, and they're not actually emptying their hand, so that's good, since that's basically a cantrip. Or I would argue a cycling card, but that's, you know, different mechanics. He does trade in. I'm okay with that. That's not... I'm not going to cry myself to sleep over that. And you also have some of the, like, really kind of boring, honestly, Or they have some of the really boring reanimation stuff. Yeah, we'll go ahead and continue with the plan.
Brilliant.
Just need to fill their hand up. It doesn't feel great to give your opponents cards, but Hearthstone Mill doesn't really let you work like Magic Mill, where I can mill from their deck. Hearthstone, I have to jump through the extra hoop of getting it into their hand and then milling, which I personally think is kind of goofy. But hey, what do I know? Alright, let's see, there are 9 cards. Yeah, we can get them just to mill a card this turn. So we'll go Dancing Swords and play a Prize Vendor. This will get them up to 10, so they'll mill their next card. If they want to sit there and take the time... Well, that's kind of a not-important mill. If they want to take the time to remove the shellfish, that's fine. I am just going to go ahead and naturalize their Mida or whatever. Probably... that's pretty good! Alright, I mean, it's not a bad one. We'll go ahead and play a Forest Guide also. And then you start bonking them in the head. We'll use our last Hedge Mage on the Shellfish again. See what we get. Res. Big thing to slow me down. Not bad. This is kind of what I was talking about.
My hand is full.
Hell yeah! Where if your matchup or your meta starts to slow down, then Mill gets... at least this particular version of Mill actually gets kind of good. For the most part, it's actually not that bad. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. I can just naturalize it. I'm not opposed to that. Oh, that's beautiful. So let's do it like this. We'll play a Hedge Mage. We'll bonk the Prize Vendor in. I'm going to take the Wrath for 1. I'm going to save the Naturalize for a likely bigger target. The Due Process draw is fantastic.
Brilliant.
Again, we're going to use the new Hedge Mage on the Shellfish again. Sends them to 9 cards. Forest Guide will send them to 10, and then with Due Process they'll draw and burn 2 cards. Let's see what we get.
My hand is full.
Okay, Ruin. That's actually kind of a good mill. That would slow us down by a couple of turns. Okay, that's not great. But they are back in the deck, so I can just play the Whomper and get at least one of them back. We are admittedly slowed down for a turn. I'm alright with that. I ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I do think that, yeah, the initial plan... Oh, that's even better. How do we want to do this? 8 mana. So I think we're going to Whomper regardless. The question is, what do we do with the rest? At most he hits me for what, like 8, 10 next turn, so we're down to 19. But this deck shouldn't really be able to burst me out. But I'm a little concerned, so go ahead, we'll just naturalize one of it. It sucks not playing a Due Process, but I can see some, like, shenanigans happening. Hey, we burned one, alright.
My hand is full.
And burned another one! Hell yeah! And we got that dumbass Infiltrator card that I hate so much dead. Doing pretty good. Let's see, does he buff the Medea or Mida with the Cathedral? If they do, it's not that bad. I mean, okay. Thank you. That's not that bad. I'll take that, honestly. Oh, that's okay. You do another one. Well, that's not good. So we pretty much kind of have to. Yeah, that's not fantastic. Let's see. Goes to 9. Is there a way that I can make this a little easier? I'm gonna, yeah, I'll save the cute shit for a different turn. We'll just Poison Seeds, and then I'll just play the Friends taunt here. Don't want to get too fancy with this. It'll suck if they get another one back, make no mistake, but I can silence it with a Keeper of the Grove if I need to. And at minimum, at least on the board, this is going to eat up 2 of the treants, which is kind of good. Yeah, I kind of expected that would happen.
Rest easy, child.
That's not bad.
You are safe now.
Okay, so he's saving it. You're saving it for face damage? Because I don't necessarily agree with that particular decision, but I guess it's a decision you can make. Oh, he's just getting it out of his hand. Okay. Fair enough.
Just to see you.
8 cards. We'll make him draw an extra card there. So I think we'll Keeper of the Grove and silence the Mida. Play a Selfish and a Due Process. Get him to draw some cards with a Hedge Mage. And that's the last of it.
Brilliant.
So they're up to 10. Okay, that really sucks.
Rest
Okay, we're milling some cards. I gotta be honest, my brain's starting to glaze over, because this is one of those forever games, and one of the reasons why Hearthstone, like, can be real hit or miss for me personally. But I'll manage to persevere. Let's see, we can always just Boomkin and heal ourselves this turn. That has to be acknowledged. I think we almost certainly just lose with that, I think. I don't think there's any... That's so annoying. God, I wish Mill... okay, that's better.
Feel nature.
Go ahead and make him some cards. You have to work so hard to make Mill work, man. So we'll just go ahead and double heal here.
Job's done.
Just hope they mill some important stuff. They're down to 3 cards, which has to be said. Oh, sorry, they're out of cards. They were down to 3 at the start of the turn. Okay, Wave of Apathy. That's an option. Why is that in there? I mean, I get it, it's a Renothal list, so you just get to put, like, goofball random shit in there, but it's just like, okay, I can't really make informed decisions around that. Oh my god, my brain. Okay, we'll go ahead. Jade Idol cards into the deck so we don't start to mill ourselves. What do we fucking do here? How do I pop the shield on that damn thing? How do I deal with their board? You know, honestly, just Star Falling 2 to all is not a bad place to start. Alright, we can go ahead and wrap 5/5. Guess we'll just prize vendor. Yeah, we'll just start plugging away. Man, this is brutal. I mean, they're taking fatigue damage. Next turn, we might be able to, like, really make something happen if they don't just kill us here.
Those we love are...
Yeah, and then we just die to dumb shit. That's cool. God, fucking Priest is such a boring fucking class. Such an eye glazer. Yeah, it's over.
I can't win them all.
Once again, don't run this game. Don't run this deck. It's one of those, like, I've sacrificed myself so you don't have to. We'll go ahead and go into a third game now. And our third and final game for our little Mill Druid list. We have a pretty synergistic hand. It's not that bad. We have a Poison Seeds if our opponent's board gets out of control. Although our aggro Druid has basically died. As Hearthstone is like a true eternal format game, where more often than not it's about doing degenerate shit and not really interacting with your opponent. At most of the time. I could also just be a very salty sailor and be bitching and moaning, which is possible. They haven't done anything, so we'll just go ahead and do process, I guess. Just slowly start to advance our game plan. See what else we can do. We'll probably just play a hedge mage on 3 and then see what our options are. Quitting out a 3-drop. Okay, there's some surprise, surprise shenanigans afoot. Yeah, we'll hedge mage. Why not? We do have the poison seeds, and if we can find a starfall, and depending on the turn, we can do both in one turn, which is kind of nice. Jade Blossom. Okay. A little unique. We'll just go ahead and play the second hedge mage and start to set up. There are 9 cards next turn. They'll probably dump 1 to 2 because I can only see this going in aggro list or some goofy combo shit that requires a creature to have Shroud. I think that's basically, yeah. Now crystal for each. Okay. You're ramping into something. Okay, so it's clearly some combo-y degenerate thing. Which is fine, but like, you know. Oh, a spade here, folks. We'll go ahead and do process and then just play the Cold Light Oracle. Maybe make them burn. Like a good combo piece, maybe? Alright, let's see.
My hand is too full.
Scale. So if there's a scale and a branch, probably some loop, goofy shit going on. Yeah, sounds about right.
From the smallest
You are gonna ramp off a cliff here. That's a thing. Credit given where it is due. Since we do have the Treant Starfall combo, I'm gonna try and save that for the real deal
My
here.
hand overflows.
Okay, that fucking sucks. We don't really have an option, but to just kind of deal with it. Let's see. I'm actually gonna, well, it's gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna wrath my own minion just to clear up hand space, and I actually don't want to draw a card for that reason. Hopefully, again, make them mill over some cards. Because they are 9 cards in their decks. We're getting there. Cold Tooth, Jade Blossom. See what we get. Get a Nourish. Flipper Friend. Yeah, there's okay, yeah, there's I mean, there's a gloop, so I knew there was some goofy ramp shenanigans going on. Really? You're gonna just trade that board in? Well, okay, I guess we both kind of want that to happen. We need it for mana, I need it for getting you to burn cards. The only thing I could think this is going badly with is it's like some weird, what's it called? What the fuck? Okay, there's something weird going on. I just can't put it together as my little tiny brain can't manage. Think we'll. I hate that I can't do both in the same turn, but I think we need to just poison seeds now. Just try to like not die. I think we'll go ahead and just Cold Light. At this point, we don't care about whatever cards we mill. We're just trying to mess them up. Now, if this was a Magic game, I would have already won with this turn. But Fatigues, for whatever reason they deem it, doesn't really operate on the same function. But next turn, if nothing else, we can always Dancing Swords and use Hedge Mages on them. We could die this turn, I guess. Not knowing what their combo is. Oh my god, I'm a lot. Oh, hang on, wait a second. Wait a second. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I don't. Oh god. Let's see. Trying to think. I'm in my head here. Okay, so I'm at 8 mana, so I could go Dancing Sword, Grove Tender, which might not be the worst idea on the planet. So you Dancing Sword, make you mill 2, then I can Grove Tender, and then Prize Vendor. I don't know if they die, but I'm almost certain they do. Grove Tender, make them draw. And that should be it, right? Thank God! Oh my god! Holy hell. We got there eventually, but I still maintain that you probably shouldn't, unless you happen to have all the cards already and are looking for a fun deck for a day or two. I honestly would not run this. Like, it's cute and it's fun, but it's meta dependent, so maybe when a meta settles, you can always break this list out. And you can very easily just get ran down by somebody with a more linear game plan than yours. But thank you all for watching. Remember to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions or comments, as long as they're somewhat nice or constructive, that's what comments are for, down below. Remember to have a good day and be kind to one another. Bye-bye!